And so worker well-being is not just important to workers, but there's an impact there that we can see, a very tangible impact that we can see on workplaces or employers, in that they're going to lose talent if they don't think about that.
Climate change is a rising, accelerating issue that we need to address. We need to address it yesterday.
It's difficult to implement or understand some of the industrial hygiene practices if you don't understand physics, if you don't understand toxicology, anatomy, physiology.
I mean, recent surveys indicate that people are willing to pay more even for a product if they know that that product was produced ethically, right? If they know that the workers were respected, if they know that the working conditions were good. So I think, I think consumers are voting with their feet.
Yeah.
I think companies are very much aware of that.
In Singapore, as you know, we depend a lot on migrant workers as well, right? And unwanted of our workforce is a migrant workforce. And because of that, we also want to position ourselves as one of the safest countries in the world for workers to work in. Whether you are a local migrant workers from anywhere, if you are in Singapore, the law protects you equally.
We felt that if we've got an industry level women in mining, initiative, then it will make sure that those that are lagging behind, they also rise, and we all learn from each other.
Working in the Northern Territory, I mean, I guess even within Australia, it's a pretty unique setting. Can you share a story about something you've come across in the Northern Territory that you probably wouldn't see anywhere else in the OSH world?
Well, we're coming straight back to the crocodiles now, aren't we?
I did warn you.
What areas do we need to focus on to really shift the needle on protecting our younger workers?
That's a really interesting question. So if you read the literature, sometimes people attribute the high, injury rates, the mental health issues experienced by young construction workers to the physical part. For example, they're still in the process of developing the physical strength, the cognitive ability, and we tend to blame young people as risk-taking people.
And now you can take your mobile phone here in Australia. I can talk with my children in Brazil, real time, in my mobile phone, talking face to face. So the world changed, and so the Social Security has to adapt itself to this change of the world. So this is the concept of having a dynamic Social Security.
Keys to not blame workers. We're not saying, well, if only you hadn't gone out and partied last night, you would feel very good. We're not saying, well, if you had only gotten enough sleep, this incident wouldn't have happened. We're not saying, if only you would focus more. No, the key is really upstream.
Yeah. The ideal situation would be an injured worker and an employer who are really open to sitting down and having a discussion with each other about how they got there into that situation and how they can work together to resolve it.
Yes, the climate is heating up. And what's happening is then we have parasites that used to be in Spain and perhaps southern Europe. They're migrating north. So there's this disease called Borrelia carried by a vector called, or a tick.
Yeah.
Those ticks are moving northwards, and our outdoor workers in Norway and Sweden are getting impacted.